Welcome to the Smokin Word. Welcome to the Smokin Word.
Billy!
What's going on, man?
Listen. First of all, shout out to us for just making it work on a first try. I got to say that because that don't happen very often. And number two, shout out to one of my favorite brown guys in New York hardcore.
I am 10. This is my Sicilian skin showing through.
I know, because originally I said he could be Puerto Rican, he could be Greek, he could be Sicilian, whatever. He's browner than everybody else. Whatever he's down with, I want in. Anyway, what's up? First of all, I'm glad to get you on here, number one, because I've been wanting to get you for a while. But I know you were going through the podcast meat grinder, so I was letting you get put back together before I got you on. And but yeah, what's up? I'm glad we could make it happen, especially lately. There's been a lot of real life shit going on. So
man, adult life is for the fucking birds, dude. It's like between all the adult shit happening in the world at large and all the stuff happening just personally with everybody. It's like, yeah, it's funny. I'm sitting back and I look at the fact that, like, all of us in hardcore are somewhat fucking damaged in some way, right? From some childhood shit or some whatever it is, and family problems, health problems, this and that, right? Everybody comes together and we found salvation in this music. But, I still think of myself back then as like, the angry. I mean, even the name Blackout came from like, my whole like philosophy of no light, no hope, no future, right?
I never knew that. I was going to ask you where did Blackout come from, so that's good. I'm glad you answered that.
And it was just negative. And the original name for Blackout was actually Crossfire. But
wow,
I figured that since I didn't own a gun and I was not going to fucking fake it, and I wasn't going to like pretend to be overly fucking hard, I kind of turned it more introspective. And it was Blackout. But like we all found each other. But still, for the life of me, as a fucking middle-aged motherfucker, I am trying to figure out what the hell I was so goddamn mad at when I had everything that an 18-year-old kid could fucking want.
You know what makes the hardcore kid a special power? Us like the X-Men. That's what I say a hardcore kid is.
Yeah.
When you see a real hardcore kid, it don't matter where you are. It's literally like X-Men. He shows you, a secret power. You wink it at each other because there's a difference. A metal fan could walk by a guy with a Slayer shirt. It doesn't. You could have zero in common with that dude, but Slayer. Right. You walk by a hardcore kid, the guy got an AF shirt on, the guy has a Warzone shirt on, the guy has a Raw Deal shirt on. You could kind of pinpoint his whole life.
Yeah.
Even more, like not everything, but it goes from this to this real quick.
Yep. Yeah, totally.
And that's the special part of it. Like that's the great. But what I think that what hardcore gave us was we found something early to focus that the anger that we just have as teens for no reason.
Oh, I agree with that 1,000%. Like, I was always interested in doing and creating. Like even as a little kid, before I started out this, I was always drawing. Like I wasn't the healthiest of kids.
Yeah.
So I found a lot of things in my own head. Right. So I found reading, I found drawing, I found like science, I found like other things where like I could make my brain work because my body was not really friggin' making up for it. And, it was interesting because when, I think I got out of hardcore that spirit of DIY. But that spirit of DIY is really kind of entrepreneurship. And I remember teaching myself, for where the wild things are, graphic design. I didn't know shit about graphic design. I learned how to do, and this was before fucking Photoshop or fucking.
Oh, the hard way, yeah.
It was that shit, that paste up shit. You got to put the rubber cement on the back of stuff. You got to make sure it's right because if it's fucking fakakta on the friggin' layout, it's fakakta forever. You know, I still look at the back of where the Wild Things are. I have a copy framed on my wall, but I can't take it down. But if you look at the back of the first few editions of Where the Wild Things Are, there's things that are a little bit like this. And I still look at that and I love it because it's imperfect. But I'm also like, fuck, how did that happen? Because I spent hours
I know
on that shit.
I know how that goes. I tell people all the time, my old demo for my first band, same shit. And I had sent it to you. And I gotta say, out of everybody, you were the only motherfucker that wrote back and fucking answered me. So back in the day, boys and girls and everything in betweens, we used to have to do a thing with our new music, not just put it on Bandcamp. You literally had to give it to people or mail it. So obviously you mailed it to every label you can, and you never expected anything. But I actually, Bill actually had fucking wrote us back and gave us, I don't remember what, but it was a kind of like, yo, you guys, it's cool, keep working on your music, kind of like, it was a positive, but we were psyched. We were like, yo, we didn't even expect you to fucking answer, and but
I'm not saying that I did that for everybody. there was some shit where I would get like bad. I mean, it's not just hardcore bands that would write to me, right?
Yeah.
I would get like singer-songwriter shit. And I will tell you, the P.O. box, this is before I became more conscious about the environment, I will say that, is that you could tell how much I liked the demo by how long it took me to wing it out of my car window.
We used to give it the we used to call it there was a something test. You used to see if catch air or whatever.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
but
how was it spiral?
Yeah. But now that you said what we were just talking about, maybe fucking think about how not just hardcore, but any sub heavy extreme group, what it gave us, if it was metal or the oi, the punk or the hardcore, whatever it be, it was for the not everybody was able to make the football team, not everybody was able to make the wrestling team and have a place where they could be creative and also get their frustrations out and somebody would listen to them.
Right.
So where do we fall? The hardcore kid had to make his own place, find its own place. But that's what I tell people. I was like, I think it's like that was the advantage we had for being broken. We learned how to use that broken, and we did something like, listen, I'm a hip hop kid. I grew up hip hop first. Hip hop doesn't leave the corner. It goes from the corner, and either you make the big thing or that's it. It wasn't a scene where you went to hip hop shows every week. The average kid in the hood never sees hip hop live. He sees a kid freestyling on the corner, but there's no live music in that lifestyle. None. I'll be the first to tell you. Hardcore's I thought everywhere had a show. Even metal doesn't have that. You know what I mean? Metal has Battle of the Bands, or you got to get on a national act. Hardcore has from kindergarten all the way to college at every level of playing.
Because you have those DIY shows, you have the basement shows, and it all goes back to that entrepreneurship. You have somebody who wants to put on a show.
Yeah.
Like Josh from Trustkill used to put on friggin' shows in his basement.
Yeah.
Right? As a kid before he even started the label. And like these are the kind of things where like that's why I always say that hardcore gave that sense of entrepreneurship to me, because I wanted to participate in the scene. I wanted to be a part of something, and I didn't want to just be a consumer, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to use whatever, talents that I had to help perpetuate this music, this scene that I really loved. And, I was lucky enough to be able to have friends who were in some solid bands, right? Like, I grew up with Carl from Killing Time. I've now been friends with him for over fucking 50 years.
Crazy.
I never thought that could even possibly come out of my mouth.
Yeah, right? It's insane.
Right? All these guys who were part of that like original like Breakdown, Raw Deal, the guys in Uppercut, and that it kind of then extended out to Outburst through Anthony. Anthony was a great social kind of mix
Yeah.
because he brought a lot of people together, and that's where the kind of like Yonkers Astoria, Yonkers Queens bond happened. And
Yeah.
dude, I met you from sitting in Anthony's fucking living room.
Yeah. And so you were Yonkers and who was New Rochelle? Any of you guys were New Rochelle?
Jeff was New Rochelle.
That's what it was. All right. So I remember it was New Rochelle, Yonkers. That was the
Yonkers, New Rochelle, White Plains was
oh,
really kind of where everybody came from. But we would all drive to these different, like, few record stores around the area. And there was a very few people, you had like Vinyl Solution in Portchester, you had Mad Platters and then Rockin' Rex in Yonkers, you had the Record Stop in Hartsdale. And that was the kind of circuit that we would go to every Saturday, and we'd see all these people. And that's where the guy behind the counter, in this case, this guy named Tony, who worked at a number of these stores, was really kind of like the Pied Piper of these fucking crazy people who ultimately became my friends. I knew Carl from when I was a little kid. Our parents were friends, blah, blah, blah. But like, we met Drago because Tony forced Drago to apply for Breakdown because he knew Drago was playing the thing. He's like, dude, these guys are playing. They need a drummer. They need a new drummer, And he kind of like pushed everybody into it. So without that guy Tony, none of that whole scene would ever have fucking happened. And it's crazy because it was this like group of people that was probably like 20 people strong. My friend, Big Mike. There was like another, just a number of people around us. This guy named Jim Gibson, who was another record store guy who I actually started put out Where the Wild Things Are with. He contributed.
That was with him. He was with the early on. Yeah, I would see his name.
He recently, before Richie, he passed away now almost 2 years ago, which is unbelievable. And all these people meant a lot to me. Over the years.
Let me ask you, so you grew up with Carl since you're a little kid. Now, when you say, all right, you grew up with him, obviously you grew up, were you always tight throughout the years or like, you know what I mean? Because some people say they grow up, but yeah, he lived down the block and throughout the years you reconnected.
He lived about a mile from me. Our fathers were both World War II vets, so they bonded. Yeah. We would go on family vacations together.
Oh, okay, so you were always.
Like, I was always at his house, like, we did all the stupid shit that kids would do with the other neighborhood, like the Little Rascals style.
I mean, like a cousin. So he was like a cousin, like basically you guys were
like a close cousin or a brother, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Wow.
I have no brothers, right? I have no siblings. So I'm an only kid. He's an only kid. So, and our parents were very, always hung out like on the, various.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So it was like we were there, and we went to the same fucking nursery school, which is where our parents met. We went to the same fucking public school in Yonkers where we met. We went to the same middle school along with Paul Bearer.
Oh man, imagine that I want to see that picture, that yearbook picture.
It's as expected. Like all of us kind of look very similar,
I seen a picture of him. He looked like a cute little mean, angry Polish boy.
Assessment. The first day that I met Paul, and I've said this other places, but I think you'll love it if you haven't heard it. Is I'm standing there and I'm wearing. Carl's probably wearing a Kiss Army shirt. I'm wearing something like an AC/DC something.
Yeah.
Standing there like two little kids. In literally 1980, but it might as well have been 1975 because Yonkers evolves more slowly than other parts of the country, or at least definitely slower than the city. And so we're standing there, and Paul comes up, this bulldog-looking kid with these cheeks, right? But he's like. And he still had the same kind of voice, which was fucking hilarious. He's like, and he shows us a picture of the Plasmatics record where they're in the pool.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is the best band in the world. And I'm like, I never saw like some chick on a record cover with tape over her nipples or anything or whatever.
Like, what the fuck?
Richie Stotts, and I was like, oh, this shit is cool. And then one of the kids we were standing with, who's now like a surgeon, if I remember correctly from looking at his profile on Facebook, but he was like, started waving his finger at him, like saying, that's disgusting. And Paul grabbed his finger, like twisted it,
yeah,
around.
Well,
So I was like, and like that was
perfect.
a foreshadowing of how my entire life was going to be,
And perfect
for things. But yeah, that was the first time I met Paul, and then he sat behind Carl in Mr. Kleinrock's social studies class. And I just remember him like he was like a terror to everybody in the class.
A sheer terror.
Yeah, he was, but he really was. Like he would, like when he would sit behind people, like he would just take them by the head and throw them off their desk. There is, I can convinced there's something in the water that made all
definitely
somewhat fucking touched in the head from wherever it is.
Let me ask you this. All right. Like I'm gonna guess, and just from hearing, and usually it was this the pecking order of getting into this music in that era. You were either a rock guy listening to what was on the radio, a lot of the regular rock that was on on the radio, or you were already into metal or getting into some type of extreme metal, and then somebody exposes you to the next thing, which is whatever it may be. Were you were a metal guy, a rock guy first, or a rock guy, then metal guy, then what was your before you transitioned into what you are today? Before the operation?
Yeah.
Where were you?
I got a couple of years on you. So I started, right? So I was born in 67.
All right.
Right. So I started listening to what was then hard rock. But the first band that I ever loved was fucking Kiss, because I saw the Paul Lynde Halloween special in was it 74, where he's like the center square and for Hollywood Squares, being like, whatever. Yeah. But like they had this Halloween thing that he was a big deal on, and they played, I think it was Detroit Rock City. It was lip sync, but all of a sudden it was kind of like the explosions, the demon, the whole fucking nine yards.
Hell yeah, the spectacle. Hell yeah. Plus,
the shit was catchy, right? And Destroyer was their fucking, I consider to be probably the best record. And so my whole school, it was literally like every kid
overnight
wanted to be fucking Gene, Paul, Peter, or Ace.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't even know how many fucking Halloween costumes we had, where we
I
had
remember
rival fucking demons and rival fucking cats and rival fucking spacemen. It was like it was like the Sharks and the Jets.
Yeah.
They were like, yeah.
Yo, a lot of flammable Kiss costumes back then.
Yeah. Oh, completely flammable. And like, and then the horrible masks that you couldn't breathe in.
The rubber band that would break. You get hit by a car because you can't see shit. Oh, forget it. That shit.
Yeah, and you got it, and it was like wearing a garbage bag too. So
yeah, I know it was. People don't know now. They got shit that looks like you get from Hollywood.
Oh yeah, they fucking put muscles in the thing. Like incredible costumes now. Like they sew fucking abs into the shit.
I know, it's amazing. So you're getting all right. So you're listening. All right, the rock, what's on the radio like that. When you what's the transition? How you start transitioning?
This, and then it's like AC/DC. Then it's like Black Sabbath, and then it's the record store guy, man.
That's the always
store, and it's the new wave of British heavy metal. So my first ever big rock concert was Iron Maiden and Quiet Riot.
Wow,
at Madison Square Garden.
Wow.
It was me, Carl, and this guy Andy Messenger, who we still actually go to metal shows with.
Wow, that's dope.
We always have like a reunion. We went to see Judas Priest's 50th.
Wow, that's great, and they kill it. They kill it.
Yeah, they kill it. They're fucking great. And that actually last record they put out was actually really, really good. And it's kind of funny that we were into Priest, and then all of a sudden Metallica comes out.
Game changer.
It changes the game for a lot of people. I think Venom and Metallica, right? Where
I know this because my brother, rest in peace, that's the same era as you. Came up same way. same band. There was the same pickings. It was the Venom, Hellhammer, the Celtic Frost, the Discharges, the GBHs.
Yeah,
You know,
it was like a continuum, right? Because how far was Venom really from Discharge or GBH? But the thing that got me was I was still buying like your fucking regular metal records, in addition to getting into like some of the heavier shit, like Possessed and like whatever, like that whole thrash.
yeah,
I was still buying like the Ronnie James Dio record when it came out, basically out of impulse, right? Oh, but like by the time the record Sacred Heart came out, it was just kind of like they were getting more poppy with more keyboards, and I didn't like it. And I was just getting more, adolescent angry at the time, right?
yeah.
And it didn't hit me. So it was the fact that the guy at the record store said, "You don't want to buy that. You want to buy Black Flag."
Mm,
And he gave me, actually, he didn't give it to me. But he recommended Damage, the fucking, the first LP from Black Flag. And I was like, holy fuck, listen to this. And it was in that back of the record store where, like, so metal was like here on the store, and then the punk rock section was like all along the back. And it was like kind of scary because like they had the Kennedy's cover, like the Fresh Fruit for Rotting Vegetables cover. And like I think they had like the penis landscape from the Giger penis landscape,
yeah.
or whatever, or from the DKs already like on display. And I'm like, what the hell is it? Because you don't know when you're like,
Yeah. No, for sure.
is
Hell
this
yeah.
crazy shit? And I was like, oh, should I listen to it? Can I even bring it home? Would my mom go fucking crazy?
And back then it was an issue. People don't understand now. Whatever. Back then, to show up with a fucking upside down cross or some shit,
Yeah.
that was insane. Now it's like you see, Paris Hilton with upside down cross shirt or whoever's hot. Right now, it's nothing.
It's all commonplace. I mean, colored hair was commonplace. You
Yeah.
couldn't, like, leather, spikes, like any sort of like punky haircut, like you would have to prepare to like throw down. I mean, I lived in super fucking Guidoville.
Yeah.
I mean, Yonkers was very Guido. I lived basically in kind of like a Goodfellas suburban neighborhood where it was all the kids of a lot of friggin' mafia B-listers.
Of course.
Right?
Yonkers up there is all was Guidos. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's kind of like, they're listening to their fucking Stacy Q or whatever bullshit.
Which I love. Hold on. Which I love freestyle music. But yes, keep going.
But you got the IROC, everybody with the posing and the fucking teal t-shirts and fucking Capizios and fucking pleated pants, like to go to the fucking grocery store. It was just a different thing. And I'm just saying, but my family didn't play the whole like super fucking Ginzo game.
Yeah.
And it was like, so it was just kind of, it was always at odds because we were the guys. The other bands that came from my town were Mortician, Will Raymer.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. He actually used to work for delivering flowers for a florist. So we used to call him the Morbid Florist. And then I went to high school with, and we still see him occasionally. Me and Carl still see him occasionally. Ross from Immolation.
Wow, that's crazy. That's bugged out.
Ross and me and Carl went to high school together. He was a couple years younger. But like we would sit around, this is again during the thrash period, where we would sit around like behind the movie theater, drinking like 8-ounce beers, listening to fucking music, while everybody else was like, trying on their trapezoidal belts, and the friggin' girls who had their hair in the banana clips and shit like that.
Yeah, I remember all
world. And that's what made me come back to the city too, because I found there was nothing cultural about fucking Yonkers that I could even remotely like besides the record stores and my friends.
So you get your taste of Black Flag. Where was the first show you ventured to? Was it a local one or did you go to the city? And what was it?
No,
hardcore show or gritty show, that wasn't the big rock show.
So two things very quickly. First club show was Jesus Christ. Was at a club in Yonkers called the Rising Sun, which we called the Rising Slum. Yeah, it's
great.
now a Z list, or it was a Z, turned into a Z list gentleman's establishment. But then it was like the last vestige of that Twisted Sister kind of like rock scene kind of places, and we saw TT Quick there. Me and Carl, we were 18 years old,
TT
or
Quick.
seven, yes, TT Quick. And it was the drummer from Nuclear Assault. But it was actually, they put out an EP on Megaforce. It was actually pretty good. I didn't like the album, but the EP was great. That was my first ever show. But my first real hardcore show, probably 2-3 years later, in 85, 86, I think it was 86, summer of 86 was really when I started officially being hardcore, and I
Yeah.
cut off my Catholic school mullet. Was an AF matinee. Where I remember walking down, me and Carl, I think Rich might have been with us. I don't remember who it was. No, it was Don Angelilli from Breakdown and Mark Sisto from Maximum Penalty, because all of us went to school together, and we were kind of like that was the kind of core group of people who we would go to shows with. And it was AF, and it's a blur because I kind of don't remember, but it might have been AF and the Crumbsuckers. It might have been AF and Damage. It might have been AF and Carnivore. I don't really remember what show it was. All I remember, it was jammed. And the first person that I ever saw in front of a hardcore show was Big Charlie.
Of course, the biggest black dude surrounded by savages.
This guy makes Lawrence Taylor look like a fucking midget.
I know. Crazy. Rest in peace, Charlie.
Yeah, man. And he was he was a great dude. He saved me from getting my ass beat at the Ritz, like friggin'
a lot of people. He saved a lot of people.
He did. And it was the bouncers that were the cop at the fucking front door was gonna throw me down the stairs because I wised off to him. So apparently he didn't like that. So what do you do? Throw a freaking exercise down the stairs. And Charlie's like, don't do that. Yeah. But I actually that show was Motorhead, and I actually sat out front, and that's the first night I met Scott Ebanks.
Wow, yeah, wow, early. Yeah, he was around early. Scotty's been around very early.
We sat around eating freaking hot dogs from the hot dog vendor in the pouring rain while Motorhead played, because I had to wait for my fucking girlfriend to get out, who decided to go into the show without me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's amazing. I remember same shit. My first show was Rest in Pieces, and I think Iceman at Seaweed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I never went to a live, again, my brother, I used to beg him, take me to the show, and he said, yeah, when you get older. And then he went to the army, he never took me. So I went on my own with my boy.
Oh, you went alone?
Well, my boy was a guy who would go to shows, but he was like not a regular hardcore kid. He would go to some shows, but he wasn't like a regular. So he goes, yo, I'll take you. I go, you got to take me. I heard Rest in Pieces. I got to see them. And he took me. And I remember just walking down from the train and seeing everybody outside.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck. Like, oh, shit.
The other person that we saw first going down there was Troy.
Remember I remember. Yeah, Troy, of course.
And Troy had on this fucking outfit where it was all
tools
from head to toe, and he was carrying a fucking, like, I think he had a thigh bone of like
that's what my brother used to say. He would have bones, like tools and bones hanging off his clothes.
He was like a fucking punk rock Fred Flintstone or some shit.
Oh, crazy.
Come down, and he'd be like, and he did not have a friendly fucking vibe at all.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Bulldog, he became Super Skin after that. You remember he was like Super Skin after that.
He was fucking super intense. But I was just like, in the same way, it was like a little daunting, right? Because I came from suburbia where it's like, I knew Guido's, but I didn't know anything about really like the city in that way. And like all these different kinds of people wearing all this clothes that I like didn't know about, and then everybody seemed to just be fucking wild. And while I felt a little intimidated by it, I also felt it was like the first place where I could be comfortable.
Yeah. Yep.
It was this very like twofold thing.
Yeah, no, for sure.
When I got down there.
Yeah, for sure. I tell people it almost feels like what your siblings would be to you. You know, you're close or not, but they know everything about you. That's why you could be yourself, because they seen you, at your most humiliating. You could be yourself. You could eat the nasty shit you eat or do the stupid shit, and it's whatever. You could be yourself. And that's what that, uh, you know, at least when I same thing for me at a hardcore show, what you were able to do is like, wow, you could be anything. I used to be like, there's a punk rock guy there, there's a guy with a morgue, there's a skinhead dude over there that almost looks like a half a racist dude, but there's a guy over there who's a Rasta, there's a white dude with dreadlocks there's a black skinhead. I used to be like, wow, anything goes. But I was like, that's kind of dope. To me, it was like Mad Max or one like the bar in Star Wars.
Oh yeah. And it's totally true. It is totally the cantina, like in that way, because you get all sorts of people, and it's people who are too smart, too crazy, too whatever, too damaged to fit into like the normal thing. But honestly, if I didn't have this in a weird way, I don't know where I would have gone with all the energy that I had.
For sure. For sure. I'd be in jail or dead. The typical story. Listen, literally going to hardcore shows, right? Early, I was a skin already, but early on, I would carry a machine gun to school. We had beef with other kids. Like I literally carried a Mag-10 machine gun in my school. And it wasn't to be like, to be tough. It's what I had. And I said, I'm not going to be a victim. That's what I said. But I remember I would have done something back then. Now I look back, I can't think of what an idiot I was. And thank God I didn't. I would have still been in there because I would have done something. But my whole thing wasn't so much for a rep. It was more, that was the neighborhood I lived in. And it was a race war at the time. And I was like, I'm not going to. It was blacks against Latins. And they were cutting each other in the hallways of the school with razor blades in their face. They were like, it was really vicious. Long story short, I was already doing my little street thing. I was young, wild, but I happened to have a machine gun that I had. I ended up carrying that with me. People that really know me back then, they know. I had that for months because I was more like, I'm not going to be a victim. If somebody's going to catch me up there, I'm lighting everybody up. This is how I was thinking. And I was never the crazy kid. I was always who I am now. I did like a little the excitement of wildness, but thank God that was just the youngness, that age, that anger. And you know what happened? I kind of got through certain things, even early Madball. Me and Freddie were really wilding out in the early days. Like we were doing side hustles on the road to make ends meet. And then it got to a point we said, you know what? Maybe we should chill out because you know what? If one of us goes to jail, we're going to fuck these other guys over who got jobs and going to school. Like the other dudes in the band were like, you know what? Let's give this band shit a try. Then we left that shit and started with the music,
Oh, I mean, it worked out, but you had the advantage of an escape valve.
Yes.
And like you're trapped in high school, you're just trapped because you're not going to change fucking schools.
Exactly.
You're not going to do this. You're not going to do that. You're trapped with these fucking, with everybody else who you have to be there with, who you didn't choose to be with.
Yeah.
And then you have to figure out, how am I going to protect myself? Do I always have to fucking look over my fucking shoulder? Like that's what that shit teaches you in many ways, right? And I don't have that same experience. I'm not fucking fake it. But like there is truth to that universally.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Let me ask you this, because you said something before that bugged me out. You said kind of officially you would consider yourself the full hardcore transition around 86 or something. You say you dropped the Wild Things, what, 2 years later?
Yeah.
Do you understand how crazy that is? Like you just came into the scene and you guys dropped like kind of what would be like, one of probably two of the greatest compilations in our music ever.
It was crazy. I mean, think about it. It was so creative, and I don't even understand where we got this energy because it seemed that time moved a lot slower when you're a lot younger.
Yeah.
Because it was like, okay, you heard somebody was around in 82 and it's 1980, summer of 86. And you're like, oh my God, they're so old school.
Yeah.
1982.
It's true. It's true.
I
It's
have
true.
I have t-shirts that are fucking 20 years old.
I got underwear right now on me that I had on longer than that.
Right? So I go in there and it's like, yeah, this energy is like, so Carl starts the band. Breakdown and Raw Deal. Breakdown demo came out in fucking a year after Carl started going to shows because he was playing guitar before he do that. So Breakdown got together, formed, and recorded the demo in 87. Raw Deal's demo came out 88.
Okay, but now let's slow down because this is the history that I've been talking about and I preach it, and I don't even know if I fully got it right. So I want to get it fully right because I want to. So
I got holes in my brain. So
all right, no, but you got more of it than I know. So I know it's from the breakdown, breakup, or a little bit of a beef or a little something happened, and then boom.
Girl.
Okay, yeah, okay. Fight over, a piece of puss that trickles over. They decide to start a new band, right?
Yep.
So take me from right there. Who says, okay, yo, let's start something new? Who are the guys starting the new thing?
There was the Great Rift.
Yes.
And so Don and Jeff went off and continued Breakdown.
Real quick, before I forget, but stop right there. What you just said, that's exactly when the world was connected in hardcore. For me, this is the moment it's separated with the Breakdown into the greatest band ever in hardcore history. But go on.
Right. And then Anthony was actually on stage at the last Breakdown show because he loved Breakdown. He thought Breakdown was amazing. So Carl and Drago decided to go Carl, Rich, and Drago decided to go their own way.
Mm-hmm.
Drago was kind of in play for a minute, but ultimately he decided that he really loved Carl's songwriting and wanted to be with Carl. Drago's really very musician oriented. Yeah. He also wrote a majority of the lyrics in Raw Deal. And so very introspective, very much of an artist in his own right. So he liked the way Carl was writing. And so they all kind of split off and went their own way. And they knew that Anthony was there. And I think there was a Dwayne Some Records thing involved there where Dwayne knew that Anthony was looking for another band.
And Dwayne was a guy like who you had in your local area. Dwayne, for people who don't know.
Yeah, Dwayne was from Some Records.
Some Records, which was the hub for New York hardcore. It was the only place for, this was before my time. And basically, he, connected the dots for everybody, for all the younger generation. That was the only place you could buy Doc Martens too, I remember at one point, 99X.
His wife owned the main store, and he had a little, basically, you know, giant closet filled with hardcore records. Yeah. And he would be the place where everybody would go. And he was responsible for launching Breakdown. He was responsible for launching Raw Deal.
Wow.
Because he sold shitloads of those fucking cassettes.
Yeah.
Hundreds of Breakdown cassettes and Raw Deal cassettes.
So the Breakdown goes, he's playing. So now you're going on all these Breakdown runs, right? You're going so that's going on. Your partner in crime is with you.
I'm like a hanger-on. I'm selling.
Yeah. But your boy, all right, you're part of that whole thing. Now it splits up. So now they say they're going to start something new, right? The thing breaks up. When does Raw Deal come, the name? And who comes up with it? Who brings it? And when is it? Okay, so how long after that it's okay, we got a new band, it's Raw Deal?
I don't know exactly. I think it was Drago that came up with Raw Deal. I'm almost sure of that. It might have been Carl. I don't think it was named after that Arnold Schwarzenegger movie in any way. I think that actually Raw Deal came out after Raw Deal came out. But I think it just described sort of poetically the situation that they felt that they were handed. They sort of felt that they were handed a Raw Deal.
Raw Deal. That's dope. That makes even more sense. I never even knew that or even thought of it.
you play the hand you got, right? And they
Yeah,
got
and Raw Deal had the card, the card. Let me ask you one other thing before I forget. This always was on my head because my brother used to talk about it, and people forget about it. This is a little bit of Mike Stinkowitz. He
oh yeah.
played.
So Mike was in the New York Hoods, and basically Anthony just brought him to practice and said he's going to be in the band too, and they were just like,
Oh,
okay.
that's how that was.
Literally, that's
I
how it happened.
I heard he had some early songs though, right? Wasn't he a part? Like he was a good writer, right?
He wrote My Reason.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
He wrote the whole enchilada of My Reason, and he had a hand in writing a lot of songs.
Got you.
But he kind of departed from the whole thing because he got super into like the Guns N' Roses thing, and he just didn't want to play hardcore anymore. He
Gotcha.
wanted to like take it in a direction,
Yeah.
you know, and so he just didn't want to be hardcore as hardcore as he was. Like
Gotcha.
he went from wearing freaking steel toes to wearing literally like
Glitter.
lizard skin cowboy boots.
Yeah, because people, I used to hear about him being an ill songwriter, and it would get forgotten about. Yeah,
He's a lovely fucking person. He's a great dude, solid as fuck, hilarious.
yeah. My brother used to talk about him a lot. Mike
Yeah,
Stegger,
right.
and I think he played in Smegma too, right? Wasn't he in Smegma with that?
That's his nickname, Mike Smegma. That's
Mike
where-
Smegma, yeah.
So, but Second was
Crazy.
like, you know, like he was terrific. I think he's like a baker now. Every once in a while, there's like a path
Hard.
crossing between all of us, but it's like
That's hard.
it's never 110%. Like I haven't seen him physically in 30 years.
Got you. All right, I was wondering because that always lingered, and he's getting forgotten about in history, but I remember hearing a lot about him.
And he was also in the band I put out called Crawl Pappy for a while.
He wasn't Crow Pappy. I didn't know that.
So he's not on the EP, but he did join Crawl Pappy for the 7-inch that John Stanier played drums on.
All right, and let me. Okay, so now Raw Deal. Now, how quick did Raw Deal pop? It had to be right away, right? Because Breakdown was popping, and then it had to be like boom.
It took a long time for Breakdown got a lot of love at the Anthrax Club in Connecticut, but they didn't get a lot of CB's love until almost the very end of the, you know, like on the Mark I lineup.
Yeah.
And that's when they solidified themselves. But I think Raw Deal's first show was at CB's. I'm not 100% correct. It might have been the Anthrax. It's a little fuzzy, the timeline, but that's where that was. So they got immediate love. You know, Anthony had a zeitgeist around him from being ex-Token Entry and being super old school in the scene and just knowing everybody, you know, in that way. And then the Breakdown guys, you know, obviously 3 of the principals from Breakdown being in a band just kind of created this kind of thing where they immediately hit the ground running. They didn't have to ramp up.
Yeah.
The same place to record the demo, so they knew like everything.
Yeah, everything was
So they kind of followed. It wasn't a plan, but they kind of took the best elements of what they learned from Breakdown and applied it to what they were doing with Raw Deal, then Killing Time.
Now, because I ask you this because one, you know, obviously your partner, your good friend was involved for the early, and you were around a lot for the early part of this shit. What did Raw Deal specifically say? Okay, obviously we're gonna start another band, but we're gonna be a little bit more. We're gonna try to be a little bit more different than Breakdown. What was the idea of Raw Deal, or just we're gonna keep doing the songs we were writing, kind of like a la Breakdown, but just.
It was musical evolution on the part of the musicians. Drago wanted. I mean, it's really odd for somebody who writes lyrics the way that he did for most of the lyrics for Raw Deal. Obviously, not My Reason. I think Anthony wrote like a couple of songs too, but you know, for somebody who liked Cat Stevens so much as a lyricist, Drago really and Carl were on a different musician path. and so they just took the kernel of breakdown, the ferocity, but they added this other element to it that, you know, musicianship wise, that core group was probably better than. I don't want to disparage Don at all, but he wasn't as prolific or as creative as a songwriter as Carl was.
Yeah.
And Mike added that other kind of like dynamic to the original stuff.
Yeah.
And then they were all more willing to accept critique from each other and kind of push the envelope.
Gotcha.
And 90% of the time it worked. Sometimes it didn't work, like with Whole Lot of Nothing on that 7-inch that I put it up.
And I like that. You know what was my shit that I think never got the props it deserves? I spend so much time.
Yeah.
Listen,
Yeah.
look at. So you can see I got a goose pimples. Let me just tell you how many times I bit that riff. I can't tell you how many times I bit that riff. Put it like that. Put it like this. Like so much. Raw. This is why I asked, because I bit so much. That was my band. That in the influence to me, it was weird because they had swag without trying to be hip hop, but I know hip hop was an influence. Same, Madball lets it out more, but again, Madball was never trying to be a hip hop hardcore band. Obviously, our influences come out, and it's a little bit more out in front.
Right.
Raw Deal always had that. I always heard hip hop. I heard a swag, and I said they got it, but it's not typical. Okay, give me the hip hop drum beat, stop the guitars, and do the drum break, and then Anthony's gonna like rap. No, right. It wasn't that. It was almost like they would even have some rock shit, really rock guitar.
Yeah.
But it would make sense.
That is entirely a culmination of all their personalities, right? That was that. There was no pretense about what they were writing. They were writing exactly what they felt at the time.
Now let me just go back with one of the main things that the compilation. Now let me ask you, to do that. When you did that, was that all done in one studio, or you had everybody go to their own studios and do? How did you go about that?
So, Where the Wild Things came about because I used to draw, and I drew the Raw Dealer shirt.
Oh, you did? You drew that? I never knew that.
So I drew that. There was a breakdown sticker that became. Oh, the skateboard's on my wall. You can't even see it now, but it's the cover of the Runnin' Scared record, which is just the King Kong skinhead going through the building. I drew that listening to Celtic Frost on fucking Jeff Prillin's bedroom floor in Sharpie while we were waiting for to go to Fuddruckers or some dumb shit. Right?
Yeah, right.
Like things that you just do and throw away that you don't think are going to mean anything. I drew the Breakdown Brick logo too.
Yeah. Oh, all right. Damn, I didn't know that. That's the classics.
So I wanted to be an illustrator before I got into the business, and it was again part of my growing up is where I had to entertain myself in my own head, so I drew a lot.
Yeah.
So Where the Wild Things Are was like I wanted to contribute to the scene, like I said. I had all this artistic stuff. I taught myself how to do graphic design because nobody was going to teach me. I bought books. I went to this zine store called See Here, which was this, the only place you could buy music magazines. Don't forget, because no internet. You had to go to places that specialized in music magazines. They had this book, How to Make and Sell Your Own Record, by Diane Rappaport, and I actually have a copy somewhere sitting in my office still. It's the first book. And I read the thing cover to cover. My friend Jim from the record store put in some money. I put in some money to get the pressing done. And I just started asking my friends, hey, do you have extra tracks? Would you go in? And everybody just gave them to me.
That's dope.
I want to do this. And it was almost at the insistence of Carl and Drago that I kind of put the label together. I was like, I should do a fucking label. And Drago was like, well, why don't you do a fucking label then?
Yeah, just do it, yeah. And let me ask you, when you decide now, whatever you put up together, did you make your money back then?
Yeah, I mean, the blessing and the curse was that it was so successful out of the gate.
Then you needed more money to try to make more happen, and then that's where the problem.
Right. And if you look at any of the shit that I posted, even from when I had my terrible Yonkers accent in that freaking Sick of It All, Sick of It All, Gorilla Biscuits.
That's a great classic.
I know, but I don't know where that. You still hear it a little bit, but I still don't know where that fucking accent came from. I really, it was always being undercapitalized. That was the biggest issue for all these labels.
Yeah.
And what I said then on that video remains true. How can you hand somebody $20,000 worth of shit? They tell you you want more, and they're unwilling to pay you for what they fucking owe you. And that was the game back then.
Yeah. Crazy.
And so they were making the money, they were banking it, they were making the interest on the money they weren't fucking paying you. They were doing other deals with that money. And I'm sitting there friggin' holding my schmuckle.
Yeah.
Waiting for money to come back to repress records. And that was the bane of my existence for my entire label life.
Let me ask you, all right, what was your biggest hit, your biggest hitter?
Oh, H2O by far.
H2O was the biggest hitter. And let me ask you this also. So for the label, so you got the label, you got your now. At what point? Because you're a hardcore dude, and even you started because one of those things. Hey, I'm gonna start it because nobody's gonna do it for us. You know, that's why we kind of all do it. But at what point did it become? Or if you remember a certain situation where you're like, because Blackout became a big thing, you know, it became, you know, it started putting out stuff, you know, you started doing big things.
In the late 90s, we hit our stride.
Okay, now there had to be a point, as hardcore and as for the people and everything, there had to be a point where you had to become a record company. And you're like, fuck, because this is a business. This is my business. I'm going to fucking lose my livelihood, but now I got to go against, you know, the hardcore rule, and I got to pull a record exec move. But obviously you did it because it's your business. Do you remember the moment, or during what era, which band era? Was it the hardcore era? Was it the post stuff? You know?
So I got my first taste of it because after I started the label, I had a very unique set of skills, right?
That's what she said.
I knew that I had to, my particular set of skills is being able to do that stuff. And I knew everything about putting out a record. So between the point when Blackout took off and I had to make it a business, I worked at other record companies. So I was AF's product manager on One Voice.
Oh yeah.
I got a job at Relativity. Killing Time used to take me out there. They used to take me out there whenever they would go visit the label. And I would do it so I could go hang out with people, and I would talk to Steve Martin, right, who did PR there at the time. And he was, just got, AF was obviously on hiatus for a while when Roger went away. So Steve got this job doing PR at Relativity. And then when Roger got out and they recorded One Voice, Steve didn't want to be in the band anymore because he had a career. And you would go out there and talk to all these guys all the time. Eventually, Howie Abrams left, in effect, and they needed somebody to run the hardcore label. So I was there pretty much every couple of weeks with everybody, and I was such a pain in the ass about trying to collect a check from them that they're like, why don't you just fucking work here? So I did. And I became the product manager for all the metal stuff and all, and others, and the metal stuff and the hardcore stuff. So when that video, the Sick of It All video came out, the live video,
yep.
I was the product manager for that when it came out. Mm-hmm. I was a product manager for AF's One Voice, among a bunch of other records. And so I had my first taste of like what the business was like from doing that. And then I went to work at a distributor called Caroline, where I did marketing and stuff like that. And I used a lot more of my computer skills at that point to work there. And, I distinctly remember my first taste of real business was when Sheer Terror decided that, because they had left me to go to this label Maze that put out the first.
I remember the Biohazard.
And the guy who ran it just fucking appeared off the face of the earth. The record didn't come out. They had no idea what he was. So I decided, fuck it, I'm re-recording half the same songs, and I'm going to put out this Thanks for Nothing record, Sheer Terror, Thanks for Nothing. As soon as I put it out, boom, lawsuit. Hello, I'm in the fucking music business now.
Now you're in the music business. Then it got real. Yeah.
I worked it out. You know, I had to pay some money. The band was not able to collect on a penny from that record ever. So basically, like, there is no, the band never saw a stitch of money from that record, any proceeds whatsoever from the Zoran Busick record.
Yep.
But that's the kind of deal that we had to make. And believe me, there was a lot of yelling and screaming on Paul's part. But,
you think?
But, you know, hey, you know, I was not super happy about that shit either, because, like, who the hell wants that kind of fucking headache, dude?
Yeah, for sure.
And so that was my first taste of, like, oh, this is real.
Yeah, because it's you know, this is why I asked, because I you know, I've been in it for a long time, but I also, you know, I also could see sometimes bands live a fantasy also, which they think that, you know, these rules they make up in their head, and they think that they're written in stone. How much, really quickly, how much you really think, obviously, fuck the big machine, not because some hardcore shit, and not because is a machine making millions of dollars. It's nothing wrong with none of that. I don't like when shit is fabricated, no matter what it is. If you're gonna be pop from jump, go for it. How much, as a hardcore dude, now being on the other side of it, how much hate towards, you know, the whole fuck the big machine, how much is legit, is what's the word, is deserved? Like, are we really do we really deserve to flip on the record company, like, for 95% of the things like bands do?
It sounds like a cop-out, but I'm just saying it depends. And here's how it depends, right? There is the physics of the music business, right? There's how royalties are collected.
Mm-hmm.
There's how people get paid. There's how records get manufactured. Those things are written in process and written in stone, right? Those are undeniable things that have to happen, right? The way that mechanical songwriting royalties are collected in the United States is adjudicated by the United States government under Section 115 of the copyright law, right? That's how that shit works. I do this shit now for actually my job. But the bands do themselves a disservice, probably in the most part, by not understanding that a contract is actually a legally binding agreement, and they can't whimsically change their mind once they sign it. And band members also think that if they don't sign a contract, they're not obligated anymore. But if you have terms on your desk, and you take what's called consideration against that contract, which means anything of value. So say 4 or 5 band members sign a contract, and they go into the recording studio. The 5th guy says, "No, fuck you, I'm not signing."
Oh, they already took studio time.
They already took studio time. So congratulations, you've signed it by accepting the consideration against your deal.
I get it.
Right? Some people don't kind of get that, or they assume that as soon as the contract's over, it's like, that doesn't matter. Well, you don't spend time talking about this unless you intend to adhere to the agreements. And the reason why you talk about it first is so there's no bullshit afterwards.
Yeah.
Right? You try to there's negative things that should be talked about prior. What happens if this all goes fucking south? Those are the adult conversations that people don't necessarily have. Bands are also not necessarily as well informed, like I said, about the other physics of the business. You don't have to be a publishing fucking virtuoso and know how neighboring rights are collected in fucking Botswana to fucking understand the basics of how you get paid. And there's 2 basic rights in music, right? There's a master royalty and there's a songwriting royalty. Those are 2 different animals handled in 2 different ways, right? And I hear and see a lot of arguments between band members, and even band members starting fights over this stuff. because they're not educated on where some of this money comes from.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
the biggest problems that I've faced are really misunderstanding of process, misunderstanding of what not adhering to contracts in certain ways, um, or woeful disregard for what an agreement actually means. Um, but it's also these kinds of things where, sometimes the bands, sometimes it's just, and sometimes people just argue, right? Sometimes people grow to hate each other, and there's nothing you can do about that. Not every human's
Yeah.
going to love each other despite their hardcoreness,
Yeah.
right? There's plenty of bands with beef between band members,
Oh
right?
yeah, for sure. For sure.
I mean,
For sure. That's the name. Yeah.
right, and that's like it's any group breaking up, man.
The reason, I bring this up because, being on the band, it's easy to always say fuck the record company. A lot of times, in some ways, yeah. But in reality, the reality is this. The reality is this. Nobody makes you sign that contract. When Madball got signed to Roadrunner, we got signed to what would be called the slave deal in the hip hop game. But you know what they did? They offered us a deal, and if we either decide to sign it or we don't decide to sign it. And our lawyer, who, shout out to Will Shepler, my brother Willie, but basically our lawyer was a contract lawyer for like buildings. He did our record deal.
Yeah.
So, because
that's the other thing, get a fucking guy who knows the
yeah. So again, we're a hardcore band with no money, we're like whatever. Like, okay, yo, I got a hookup. My friend's pops' friend's a lawyer. All right, bring him. I never forget this. This is Madball signing to Roadrunner. It's basically the deal they have in the 101 Roadrunner book. I love Roadrunner. I cannot hate on them because what they gave us the most bullshit 101 deal, but we signed it. They said, look it. This is what is it. And I remember the lawyer looking at it, and this is a contract lawyer. He looked at it and kind of looked at it. He goes, well, it's a contract. That's what he said.
The implications of like, hey, Hoya, the return reserve is going to be 50%.
Oh, I didn't even hear that word once. None of that.
Right.
But long.
Hey, Hoya, what's the package deduction? What's your re-record restriction? Like, and here's the thing. When I first got a contract, right, when I started doing contracts with bands, which I started doing early on, very early on, even before the Wild Things I have one-page contracts. They're simple as fuck, but they're easily spelled out. You're going to do this, I'm going to do this, that's it, right? When Raw Deal signed to In Effect, they had like a fucking contract that was the size of a telephone book. And I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to steal this contract for me because I don't know how to write a long-form contract. But what I do have is pretty decent reading comprehension. So I'm going to interpret every paragraph into normal fucking language. So I took pages of this bullshit and I summarized it into a paragraph that was actually like, for every record sold, you get $1 off of this for this. For every record sold, you get this for this. For every record sold, you get this for this. If you sell more than friggin' 25,000, you get X amount more. And I summarized this giant fucking bullshit laden document into something that was, at least in my 19-year, 20-year-old head, was elegant and reasonable. Yeah. And I used that template for probably a good 10 years.
Wow, yeah.
If not longer. It changed over the years because there were certain things, but fundamentally it was the same thing. And I was always upfront about how you have to do things. And I think fundamentally there is one difference between, at least the way I perceive the business. There are some labels out there who have been sued for millions of dollars.
For sure.
Who have been much more successful, who've had an exit in the millions of dollars as well. But I would rather do my best to treat people the way I think they should be treated, as opposed to just being, purging the hardcore out of it entirely and being all about the money. But record companies do fuck people over.
For sure. No, I won't. Of course, they hide shit in the mix, for sure. But the reason why I say this, because, again, we chose to get a bullshit lawyer. they told us this is the 101. Basically, this is the thing. They take out the 101 book for idiots, the example. But we were like, first of all, who the biggest metal label wants to sign us? First of all, they're crazy because who the fuck wants to sign us? This is what we're thinking. Number two, we're like, what will we make? Who the fuck is gonna even care? So take whatever you want because we ain't nothing. We ain't nobody. This is what our mentality.
Think about this. So the biggest thing that ever happened to me, and I use the word biggest in air quotes, is we got a deal with MCA Universal in the mid 90s. It was during that whole indie acquisition phase where every label was getting picked up and whatever. And I had a friend who I work with at Relativity, Sky Hans. Love that guy. And he fucking said, "Hey, do you want a deal?" And I was like, whatever. So I'll tell you exactly what we got. We got $150,000 a year cash, an office space at 1755 Broadway, and a publishing admin deal that somebody would have to approve our publishing admin on. And that was like another 20 grand a year advance. It was like nothing. They got a whole label.
Yeah, for sure.
Get a baby artist for, right?
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. But for us, we thought we were king of the world. I hired like 4 guys to work for me. I put everybody on fucking punk rock welfare because I paid everybody the same, including myself.
Yeah, punk rock welfare.
Yeah, it was. And we had a great time. Sheer Terror put out the only record that ever came out through MCA was Sheer Terror, the Love Songs for the Unloved record. Probably the wrong band for them to have signed. And and it's no disparaging Sheer Terror's professionalism at the time, nor their songwriting. It was just that
bad.
They were unwilling to participate in the reindeer games that's necessary at that level of the business, right?
Yeah.
And they toured a lot, but they could have toured a lot on an indie record also, right? But the ultimatum that came to me was, you sign us to MCA or we're breaking up. Okay, well then I guess I'm trying to sign you guys to MCA. So, we did that deal, and I learned a lot about industry politics from all the inner shenanigans that I saw happening at Universal. Yeah. I learned a lot about what that was, and it's the major label game is such a higher level of insanity compared to like being in a band and putting out indie records. It is night and day. It's apples and fucking aircraft carriers. It is two decidedly different fucking animals by a wide fucking margin.
Yeah, that whole thing bugs me out. Like, you got to see it on many levels, so it's good to get that insight. But I also, not that I want to give a record company the benefit of the doubt, or give them at least, for once, a little bit of props. But I know, again, it's, it takes 2 to tango sometimes. You know what I mean? And like, again, we signed our deal knowing what we were getting into, but we didn't think none of it. We didn't think we would last.
Well, that's also the thing, is where when I signed my MCA deal, I knew it was kind of not the deal that I wanted. But I figured I needed to strike while the iron is hot.
Hell yeah.
I saw what was in front of me, and I wasn't playing a long game.
Yeah, playing the shit. Exactly.
So I was in the same perspective as I signed their 101 deal the same way you signed.
Yeah. No, I totally know what you mean. Yeah.
So I completely feel it on everybody's thing, because I was out of my depth. I had a good lawyer, but he also worked with them on 400 other things. So, like, was he really going to fucking go to the mat for fucking shithead hardcore guy?
Yeah.
He's going to make me kind of happy. He makes them happy. He makes the deal not so difficult for them.
Yeah.
I get a little bit of money. I get to hire all my friends for 4 years.
Yeah.
And then they kick me out of my ass, and I steal about 2 years worth of office supplies.
And there you go. Hardcore lives.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've done all the Jiffy packs and Post-it and fucking Staples and fucking all that shit that we stole leaving the
office.
Probably for another 2 years.
I know that shit. How crazy how music is just changed throughout the years. You know how it's distributed, how it's put out. Now, forget putting out an album. You put out singles. You know, you
Oh
put out your album in singles monthly. Lyric video. That's the first step now. Lyric video.
yeah.
You
Yep.
don't even got to spend nothing. I remember being on Roadrunner, and the big talk was like, because videos were brand new. They're like, yo, I heard they just spent. Sepultura did a video where they had the Gracie family, and they're like, "Yo, I heard they spent 150 grand on it." I was like, "Oh my god, for a video, 100 and wow!" Like I couldn't. And I remember when we got. First of all, I'm proud of Mabel for this. We never got dropped. We're the only band that never got dropped off Roadrunner. We left Roadrunner. Again, we were probably paying the toilet paper bill there. Not that we were paying anything, but I remember my mad love. I got love for them because even Monty was like, "You guys really want to leave? Like, really?" Because they had, in numbers we didn't put them, but we put them in props because they had the realest motherfuckers on the label with us. That's just a fact. If you like this or not, you had some real gritty motherfuckers from the who live and were born in the trenches now under your umbrella.
Right.
But I remember, he was like, and we were like, he was like, "What it is that you guys want?" Now the music it started becoming, we needed a video kind of thing. It was that era. And we were like, but videos were still like movie money back then, like that. And they were like, he was even like, "Yo, we can't give you that." And we were like, "I hear you." And he was like, "All right, if you guys want to walk, kind of, all right." But it was love. We walked out of that contract, that 101 contract. We never had a blue grape deal like everybody. Listen, Mabel did. Listen, we were the fucking John Gotti of the Roadrunner family because we were untouchable. You know what I mean? But it's just funny. Labels, the whole shit. And that, let me ask you, what do you think to this day, how many copies you think you sold of the compilation your first? If you had from what you think?
The first compilation sold, I want to say by calculations over the first couple of years, probably about 20,000.
Oh, and that shit sold 10 times more than that since then. That sold, but been past the that's look at it. It's the new.
That's what it sold like in the first couple of years, and I stopped counting because I also, because I was pressing new records, like, and that was only on vinyl and cassette. I don't remember how many I pressed on CD. I have no idea.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Right, because for the first 3 years it was out, the CD didn't really exist until realistically, 1991 is when CDs came down in price enough to actually print. Otherwise, they were going to be $18.99 each.
Yep.
Fuck is going to pay $18.99
Crazy.
Right? And then you had to put them inside those stupid fucking cardboard things.
Yeah, that whole shit.
So by 92, I was starting to put out, but I had to do 3 formats. I had to do, like the Iceman came out on fucking CD, EP, cassette, LP, and 7
singles. Remember those?
Oh, singles were a nightmare too.
Single these nuts.
Why, God? Why?
Yeah, why? Yeah, why? Put the single out. Fucking crazy singles.
That's some Lisa and the Cult Jam shit, right?
You got the A side and the B side, the long remix, the long version.
I just remember buying a couple of things like that, and in my car, you put it on and you listen to the fucking thing 400 times, going back and forth.
Oh yeah, that shit just goes. It'd be like, we got the short 8-minute remix, and there's the short version.
Exactly.
And fucking, but listen, in hardcore music, as far as listen, the records that are a staple and they're not a band. Well, one of them is a band, but it's not a studio record. It's AF Live at CBGB's, the New York hardcore comp of Gus Straight Edge in the front. I always forget. And then with the Wild Things. I mean, those go in with Victim in Pain. They go in with Brightside. They go in with the War Zone. Straight up.
That is hard for me to reconcile. Right?
Hands down.
Because I started out being a participant in the scene and being one of the junior kids in the scene.
Yeah.
Right. And it's to look at it from fucking 31 years later or whatever friggin' horrible shit that we're
Crazy.
however
Yeah.
friggin' horribly old I am now, right? And think that this shit has lasted is a fucking miracle. Like, you know, none of us thought we would
Yeah.
have any of this matter
For sure. Crazy.
for that long. And if we knew, maybe would have talked about it differently, but maybe the energy would have been different and it never would have gotten here in the first place.
Exactly. It was because it was, you could tell it was brave to do stuff for that. You had to be brave to be that age and to do something of that magnitude, because people don't understand. People can't wake up on time to go to work, let alone get 20 bands to submit something and meet a quota and have a layout. And all these things, there's a lot that comes with it. You know what I mean? It's a lot. That record, like literally, when I think of albums, I think, okay, Don't Forget the Struggle, Age of Quarrel, Murphy's Law, first record, Victim in Pain, the 2 compilations, Live at CBGB's, then everything else is whatever you want it to be. It's just what it is.
That's amazing to hear from you, who have such an accomplished body of work as well, right? I mean, it meant a lot to me at the time because most of those bands were actually my friends.
Yeah, crazy.
Right? And it was a document. It was almost like my personal yearbook. It wasn't necessarily meant to be this explosive thing, but I knew that I wanted to put out a record. I had no idea it would turn into anything ongoing, and I certainly had no idea that I'd be working in the fucking music business friggin' now.
Yeah, crazy. You know what I just realized those compilations were? The first hardcore mixtapes.
Yeah. They were really mixed on vinyl. Yeah.
That's why I loved them. You know why I took pride in this, and Ezek's my witness, because Ezek was the motherfucker who bothered me the most when we were kids. I was a hip-hop kid, so I took the elements of what I loved about hip-hop, and I brought it into not only my songwriting, but in everything. So I would make, my Ezek, make me a cassette, hardcore cassettes. You know how you make, I got all the records, all right? So instead of dropping the whole Cro-Mag record, the whole Warzone record, I put We Gotta Know, Power. I would splice it really close, so you almost had like a mixtape.
Yeah.
So Ezek, they would always come, but that's what I loved about those comps. It was the best of. It was everybody's hardest hitters, and if you were lucky, maybe 2. They usually had 1, maybe 2, and it was like, oh, I'm getting their best shit, or maybe a song that ain't on their record, and now it's you can let the record play. And I was like, oh man, this is like, it was like, I don't know. To me, it was like it's a staple, like to have a compilation. That's like a hardcore staple.
Yeah, it's like when I go to a show and I hear like so many bands cover some of the songs that are on Where the Wild Things Are.
Oh,
and like I hear somebody covering like The Hard Way.
Oh yeah.
Like why
all
did
that,
they
yeah.
the Hard Way?
From the imagery, the sound, all these, the same thing. Listen, I see Anthony, obviously Raw Deal, I love them, but they played Florida not too long. A couple years ago, I played with them. The young kids still, they have those Raw Deal kids out there, the Killing Time kids, they're still there. There's those those kids that really still love the OG shit, and they're my man Chris Link, I love you, from Terra, fucking Crewhand. He's one of them, the younger generation, but he's a Raw Deal head. Like he's one of those guys, the guys from a lot of these younger generation, they should have been around then. Like, you know what I mean? They would have been going nuts.
They got old souls in that way, and they understand why. And maybe it's part of their background, maybe it's part of like how they grew up, maybe it's who introduced them to hardcore, but their experience seems very parallel to what I had even 30 years ago. So that's why they get it.
Yeah, no, it's true, man. It's dope. And what are you doing now? Where's Bill Wilson now? What's your power moves now? People want to know what's up with Billy Wilson. What is he doing? Where is he on the planet at this moment?
So married, live in Jersey with my wife, and we have 4 adopted pit bulls.
There you go.
Heavily into the animal thing. I'm not vegan, but I'm vegetarian. My wife is adamantly vegan. And for a job, I worked at a bigger record company that does hip hop and does bigger metal acts and has a publishing company. And I actually am the one who does the deals with Apple and Spotify and YouTube and all those other companies on behalf of my company. So I understand how all this digital shit
Dope.
works. You know,
That's dope.
and being a nerd actually has had some advantages in that way
Yeah.
to be able to like live inside my head a little bit.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah.
And then, you know, there was a time when Blackout was not fun, and that was during the early part of the 2000s. I had a bad deal with a recording studio partner who tried to steal the label from me, basically. Um, and I essentially quit my own label
Horrible.
until he was extricated from it. And I really didn't do jack shit until, and it was all up on iTunes and whatever it is. But the early days of digital, there was like no money in it at all, like zero.
Yeah.
And but now with streaming, it's still kind of not the best, but I've started to get back into doing other stuff. So I'm repressing a lot of older catalog.
Cool
Uh,
shit.
like I just put out the Redemption 87. I did the Killing Time. I mean, the Killing Time, which I think I sent you.
Yes. Oh yeah, I got those records. I forgot to tell you because we didn't get to go on. I have them over there. Yeah, I was gonna tell you I got them right away. Hell yeah.
Um, I put out the Outburst, which included the demo, so I expanded an LP. We did an Outburst tribute record that had Power Trip on it.
I saw that. I remember that. Yeah, it was dope.
Riley unfortunately passed away, and it's the anniversary of Riley's passing actually this coming week.
Yeah.
And so because he and JoJo especially bonded, like they were like really good friends, like the old school and new school.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, for sure.
So it was crazy. So that kind of shit still makes me happy, right? And I get to like make the donuts.
Yeah,
exactly. I still love getting the vinyl. Like I was taking pictures. This is not just like me shilling, but like I was taking pictures for doing stuff, and like I love making fucking vinyl that looks like this.
Hell yeah. No, I know what you mean. I love that shit to remember. Everything bigger, just you could hold it, touch it, feel
like
it. Yeah.
Right? It's like, and it feels more real when it's there. And so when I run out of catalog, do I know if I'm ever going to do another band? Because I'm never going to be 20 again.
Yeah.
Right? Am I ever going to be that kid who's like friends and going to every show and like driving H2O to one of their first shows in Philly with a drum set in the back of my car?
Yeah.
The answer is probably not.
Let me answer for you. No.
Yeah.
But yeah. But you're still in the mix. That's all that matters. We're still in it. Like I tell people, we don't got to be doing the crucified on top of the crowd or chicken fighting to be represented. We don't got to be at every hardcore show. We still talk about it with pride. We still involved wherever we can. And when we do get involved with it, like you, take pride in it. You want to still do, you're doing stuff that you don't have to do because it's what we are. So we have to do it.
It's in here, right?
We have to do it.
And like we started off this conversation talking about how real life gets in the way, but I've now incorporated my hardcore life into my adult life. And not too many people get to do that. I mean, look at the fucking flyer. I had this flyer wall sitting behind me in my home office.
Yeah, amazing.
Right? And this is, it's how I get to incorporate who I am and who I was as a kid into my adult life. And I don't have to separate it by all of a sudden starting to wear what other fucking 55-year-olds wear, pants up to here, fucking like grow a fucking.
Look at us. We like to exactly. Fuck that. Fuck that. Fuck that.
Young until I die, motherfucker. And
exactly.
That's really what it is.
Guys like you doing what you did and doing what I do, it shows how much engulfed in this shit that we are, that we weren't in it for a fucking part-time, because we could have been out of this shit a long time ago, you know, and we would have had the reasons for it to leave this shit a long time, but we're still here. I started a line, part of my clothing line, that's a dope light, by the way, called Lifer. And basically I came up because me and Freddie and other people will say, yo, we're lifers in this shit. You know, whatever we do, we live it to the fullest. That's what you are. We're a lifer. I'm glad that there's people still like us who really love it, and that we're around in the era that we could still talk about it and keep the history alive. And, you know, because we need to be, you know, our history all our history isn't written in books, you know what I mean? Or on vinyl. So I'm glad that we're still alive so people can hear this. It's on, now that it's on this podcast, it's going to last forever online. So it's always going to be out there.
And that's the folklore, right? That's the language of the tribe, right? It's the stories that people tell.
Exactly.
And that way since the days when we were fucking in caves, and it's going to be that way, you know, until doomsday happens.
Exactly. And that's why, like I said, we're still in this shit to win it.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Bill, I'm fucking glad I finally got you. Next time I want to get you on, and we're going to do you with my boy Jay Reason, and I want to do get in a little bit more in depth with the whole behind the label and that era, because he worked with labels and behind the scenes and management. I wanted to do a podcast on that to, again, I want newer bands and newer people maybe wanting to get involved with the business, hear what's going on, and maybe, you know, it could help them in their future moves.
I'm happy to do that. I want, you know, being involved in educating a lot of different, you know, newer people and people who may have questions. I want to tell them what's truth and what's bullshit, and I'm happy to do that.
Exactly. And what I'm trying to do, I'm going to start live streaming some of my podcast, and that's one I would like to live stream with you and Jay, so people could ask questions, because there's a lot of younger kids wanting to start a label, trying to, you know, or bands wanting to know what to look out for. So I think we could, you know, we could throw some stuff out there that might be able to help some new people, you know, people trying to get involved with the thing. But and who better than to get a motherfucking hardcore dude in the trenches? Bill, I'm fucking glad we finally made this shit happen. You know what's up. Killing Time is the greatest time. No, Raw Deal is the greatest band on the fucking planet. And guess who put them out? Blackout Records. Listen, go get everything Blackout. Go get everything this man pulls out. Well, I don't know if he pulls that out. You want to get it, but everything he puts out, I mean. Well, but maybe you want to pull it out too. From what I heard, the Sicilians are a little, okay, that's another story. But listen, Bill, I love you. I'm glad we finally got to chop it up, and I'm going to get you back. And anything you want to let people know before we out of here?
No, other than a salute to the other man with the heavy eyebrows.
You already know we are the eyebrows of the fucking New York hardcore scene. But listen, shout out to everybody tuning in around the planet. Bill, I love you. You already know. Blackout Records, Smokin Word Podcast. You know the deal. We out of here till next time. Yo, Bill, I'll let you know when we drop this shit, all right? I'll text you later.
Awesome. Later, Hoya.
Yo, peace out, everybody. We out of here.